Ladies and gentlemen, today I want to remind you of something powerful, something we often forget in the noise of life. You are valuable. Your dreams matter. Your peace matters. Your growth matters. Your worth is something you are born with. It isn't given to you by people, status, achievements, or validation. Too often, we allow the opinions of others to shape how we see ourselves. We chase approval, praise, and acceptance as if they are the currency of our value. But the truth is this: you were valuable long before anyone noticed you, and you will remain valuable even if no one applauds you. People's opinions can change overnight. Approval can disappear as quickly as it comes. If you build your self-worth on external validation, you will constantly feel unstable, pulled in different directions by what others think, say, or expect. But when you understand that your value is internal, unchanging, and rooted in who you are, not what you do, you become unshakable. Your value comes from your character, your heart, your potential, your experiences, and the unique gifts you carry. No comparison, no criticism, and no rejection can diminish what is already inside you. When you stop measuring yourself by the standards of others, you free yourself to grow in your own timing, move with confidence, and walk in authenticity. You must believe that you are enough, not because someone told you, but because it is the truth. The moment you embrace your inherent worth, you begin to set higher standards for how you are treated and what you accept and what you pursue. You stop begging for seats at tables where you were never meant to shrink yourself just to fit in. You start building spaces where you can stand tall unapologetically. Your value is not something you earn, it is something you recognize. And once you truly understand that, everything in your life begins to shift. When you choose to focus on yourself, you begin to silence the noise that has been pulling you in 100 different directions. In a world full of distractions, expectations from family, pressure from society, opinions from strangers, it is easy to lose sight of who you truly are and what you truly want. But the moment you redirect your attention inward, everything that once felt confusing starts to make sense. Focus is like a spotlight. Whatever you shine it on becomes clearer. When you focus on your goals, they stop being distant dreams and start becoming achievable steps. When you focus on your strengths, you grow more confident. When you focus on your weaknesses, you develop the awareness to improve them. And when you focus on your healing, you remove the emotional barriers that have been holding you back. Without focus, you drift, you react instead of lead, you move without purpose, hoping life will somehow work itself out. But when you intentionally concentrate on your growth, your vision sharpens. You start to understand what matters and what doesn't. You begin to differentiate between what aligns with your future and what distracts you from it. Focusing on yourself also helps you detach from the comparison that often clouds your path. When you are constantly looking at what others are doing, you lose sight of your own journey. But when you turn your attention inward, you realize that your timeline is unique, your purpose is personal, and your journey is not meant to match anyone else's. Clarity is not something you stumble into. It is something you create through focus. As you prioritize your mental state, your goals, your habits, and your dreams, your direction becomes undeniable. You begin to walk with intention rather than uncertainty. You stop wasting energy on things that do not push you forward. And slowly, you transform from someone who feels lost into someone who knows exactly where they are going. When you focus on yourself, you reclaim control over your life. Your choices, your growth, and your future become clearer than ever. Many people are taught to put themselves last, to prioritize everyone else's needs before their own, to constantly sacrifice, to give until there is nothing left. And then somewhere along the way, taking care of ourselves started to look like being selfish. But valuing yourself is not selfish. It is an act of wisdom, preservation, and emotional maturity. You cannot grow, thrive, or become the best version of yourself if you are constantly depleted. When you value yourself, you give yourself permission to rest without guilt, to say no without fear, and to choose what nourishes your mind, body, and soul. You recognize that you are responsible for your own well-being and that no one else can pour into you the way you can pour into yourself. Self-value means understanding your limits and honoring them. It means acknowledging your needs and meeting them before you try to meet the needs of everyone else. If you neglect yourself, everything in your life suffers: your health, your relationships, your goals, your confidence, your peace. You cannot pour from an empty cup. When you constantly give without replenishing, you reach a point where even the things you once loved start feeling heavy and draining. But when you value yourself enough to refill your cup, you show up stronger, clearer, and more present in every area of your life. Self-value also teaches the world how to treat you. When you respect yourself, you set a standard for what you will and will not accept. You stop tolerating disrespect, manipulation, or environments that shrink your spirit. People quickly learn that you carry yourself with dignity and they respond to that energy. The more you value yourself, the more your connections, opportunities, and experiences begin to align with that same level of respect. Most importantly, valuing yourself creates the foundation for growth. You cannot evolve while believing you are unworthy of better. You cannot improve while doubting your right to take up space, pursue dreams, or make choices that serve your highest good. Self-value fuels ambition, confidence, and courage. It reminds you that you deserve peace and progress and purpose, not as a reward, but as your birthright. When you finally understand that taking care of yourself is not a selfish act, but a necessary one, everything in your life starts to shift upward. There comes a moment in your life when you must recognize the difference between what feeds you and what depletes you. Not everyone who has access to you deserves to stay connected to you. Some people enter your life with good intentions, but take more from you than they give. Others stay because they know your heart is generous, your spirit is giving, and your patience is deep. But your energy is not unlimited. Your time is not replaceable. Your peace is not something you can keep sacrificing. When you continuously prioritize people who drain you, emotionally, mentally, or even physically, you slowly lose pieces of yourself. You begin to feel tired in ways sleep cannot fix, overwhelmed in ways you struggle to explain, and disconnected from your own goals and desires. You start pouring into others so much that you forget to refill your own soul. You end up carrying weight that isn't yours, fixing problems you didn't create, and trying to save people who aren't willing to save themselves. Prioritizing draining people also leads to resentment and burnout. You find yourself giving effort to relationships that never reciprocate. You give emotional support to those who disappear when it's your turn to need it. You bend, compromise, and sacrifice until you no longer recognize your own boundaries. And the more you give, the more they expect, because you have trained them to see your effort as a requirement rather than a gift. But something powerful happens the moment you decide to step back and reclaim your focus. You realize that distance is not cruelty. It is clarity. You understand that your loyalty should not cost your mental health. You recognize that not every relationship is meant to last, and not every situation deserves your energy. You begin to see that protecting your peace is just as important as helping others protect theirs. When you stop prioritizing draining people and circumstances, you create space for healthier connections. You open the door for relationships that uplift you, support your growth, and match your effort. You make room for opportunities that align with your purpose instead of distracting you from it. You allow yourself to breathe, to think, to heal, and to focus without constantly being pulled into someone else's chaos. Releasing draining situations is not an act of selfishness, it is an act of self-respect. It is choosing to invest your energy wisely, intentionally, and in places where it can grow rather than disappear. clear. But boundaries are not barriers. They are bridges that protect your peace, your energy, and your well-being. Many people struggle with boundaries because they fear disappointing others, being misunderstood, or appearing selfish. But in reality, boundaries are one of the greatest acts of self-respect you can give yourself. They communicate to the world what you will tolerate, what you won't accept, and how you expect to be treated. When you lack boundaries, you become vulnerable to being used, overlooked, or taken for granted. People begin to assume that your time is always available, your emotions are always open, and your energy is endless. Without boundaries, you end up saying less when your heart is screaming no. You stretch yourself thin trying to meet everyone's expectations, leaving very little space for your own needs, growth, and peace. But setting boundaries is not about pushing people away. It is about protecting the parts of you that matter most. It allows you to show up in relationships with clarity instead of resentment. It helps you maintain your sense of identity instead of losing yourself in others. Boundaries create structure in your life, ensuring that your emotional, mental, and physical well-being remains stable and respected. A boundary can be as simple as limiting your availability, refusing to engage in unhealthy conversations, or stepping away from relationships that no longer support your growth. It can mean saying, I love you, but I will not allow myself to be mistreated, or I care for you, but I will not sacrifice my peace for your chaos. Boundaries are the invisible lines that preserve your dignity. When you set healthy boundaries, something powerful happens. You begin to attract people who genuinely respect you. Those who value you will honor your limits, communicate clearly, and meet you with understanding. Those who cannot respect your boundaries will naturally distance themselves. And that is a blessing, not a loss. It reveals who is meant to stay in your life and who simply benefited from your lack of self-protection. Setting boundaries requires courage. It demands self-awareness, discipline, and a willingness to stand firm even when others resist. But as you uphold them, you strengthen your relationship with yourself. You show yourself that your peace matters, your voice matters, and your needs matter. Ultimately, boundaries are a direct reflection of how deeply you value yourself and how committed you are to preserving your own well-being. Every transformation in your life begins with a single powerful shift in your mindset, the recognition that you are worthy of more than what you've been accepted. Many people stay stuck not because they lack potential, but because they lack belief. If you do not truly believe that you deserve a healthier life, stronger boundaries, better opportunities, and deeper happiness, you will unconsciously settle for less every time. Believing you deserve better is not arrogance, it is awareness. It is acknowledging that your current situation, habits, or environment does not reflect your true potential. It is recognizing that comfort can become a prison and familiarity can become a trap. Growth does not begin in the moment you change. Growth begins in the moment you decide you should change. This belief shifts everything: how you think, how you speak to yourself, the people you choose, the standards you set, and the risks you are willing to take. When you believe you deserve better, you stop tolerating disrespect, inconsistency, and environments that drain your spirit. You start moving different, more intentionally, more confidently, more boldly. Belief is the fuel of action. Without it, your goals remain distant dreams. With it, even the hardest obstacles become stepping stones. You begin to see opportunities where you once saw limitations. You begin to find solutions where you once felt stuck. You begin to seek growth instead of comfort and purpose instead of approval. This belief also forces you to confront the parts of your life you've outgrown. You can no longer pretend that certain relationships, habits, or mindsets are serving you. You become more aware of your patterns, why you stay where you are, why you accept what hurts you, why you silence your own voice. And with that awareness comes the power to make different choices. Believing you deserve better does not mean you think you are better than others. It means you finally see your own worth clearly enough to stop shrinking, settling, or sacrificing yourself just to fit into environments that don't match your potential. It means you know that growth requires discomfort, discipline, and a willingness to step out of the life you've known in order to build the life you truly want. When you internalize the belief that you deserve better, you unlock the foundation of personal growth. It becomes the starting point for healing, transformation, and the courageous decisions that shape your future. Your life becomes significantly clearer and more powerful when you choose to care for yourself on every level, not just physically, but mentally and emotionally as well. True self-care is not a luxury or something you do only when you have time. It is a necessity, a responsibility, and a lifelong commitment to preserving your well-being. When you neglect any part of yourself, your entire life feels the weight of that neglect. Taking care of your means being mindful what you allow into your thoughts. It involves filtering out negativity, limiting exposure to constant drama, and stopping the habit of replaying painful memories or criticism that wears down your confidence. Your mind shapes your reality, and when your thoughts are cluttered, fearful, or self-critical, everything in your life becomes harder. But when you intentionally feed your mind with knowledge, positivity, clarity, and peace, you give yourself the mental strength to overcome challenges and pursue your goals with a clear vision. Caring for your body is equally important. Your physical health is the foundation that supports every dream you want to accomplish. Resting when you're tired, nourishing your body with real food, staying active, and listening to your body's signals are all acts of self-respect. When your body is neglected, fatigue becomes normal, stress increases, and motivation fades. But when you treat your body with care, you feel stronger, more energized, and more capable of showing up for your life. And then there is your emotional health, which many people overlook because emotions are not always visible, but emotional wounds, when left unaddressed, grow silently. They influence how you think and how you react and how you connect with others. Taking care of your emotional health means being honest about how you feel, allowing yourself to heal from past hurt, and refusing to bottle up emotions that need to be understood and released. It means learning to calm your nervous system, protect your peace, and seek support when heavy feelings become overwhelming. Intentional self-care is not about temporary relief. It is about long-term stability. It requires awareness, consistency, and the willingness to pause and check in with yourself. It means learning to silence the guilt that tries to convince you that rest is unproductive and that self-care is selfish. It means understanding that your well-being determines your quality of life, your ability to grow, and your capacity to love yourself and others. When you take care of your mind, body, and emotional health, you create a solid foundation for everything you want to achieve. You show yourself that your life matters, your peace matters, and your future matters. The people you keep close have a profound influence on the direction of your life. They can either push you forward, hold you back, or keep you stuck in the same place without even realizing it. Surrounding yourself with the right people is not just about companionship. It's about creating an environment where your growth is encouraged, your dreams are respected, and your potential is recognized. When you are around people who genuinely support your purpose, you feel a different kind of energy. These are the individuals who celebrate your wins instead of competing with them, who uplift you when you doubt yourself, and who see your potential even in moments when you struggle to see it yourself. They challenge you to rise, not in a way that pressures you, but in a way that reminds you that you are capable of so much more. Their presence fuels your ambition rather than draining your spirit. On the other hand, being surrounded by people who do not support your growth will slowly dim your light. Some individuals thrive on keeping others small because it makes them feel big. Others project their limitations onto you, not because you are incapable, but because they cannot imagine themselves achieving what you dream of. Some are simply comfortable where they are, and your desire to grow makes them uneasy. Whether intentional or not, their energy becomes a weight that pulls you backward. And choosing the right people is not about elitism, it is about alignment. You need relationships that reflect where you are going, not where you used to be. You need people who speak life into your ideas, who hold you accountable with love, and who encourage you to stay committed to your goals even when the journey becomes difficult. You need connections built on mutual respect, mutual growth, and mutual support. Surrounding yourself with supportive people also means being willing to distance yourself from those who are consistently negative, dismissive, or unmotivated. You cannot grow in an environment filled with doubt, jealousy, or stagnant energy. You cannot rise. The people around you are determined to stay low. Protecting your circle is part of protecting your future. The more you elevate, the more intentional you must become about who is allowed in your space. Not everyone can walk with you to the next level, and that's okay. Quality over quantity becomes essential. Even a small circle of genuine, supportive, growth-minded individuals can have a greater impact on your life than a crowd of people who do not value your journey. When you surround yourself with people who support your purpose and potential, you create an atmosphere where progress becomes natural. Their encouragement strengthens your confidence, their wisdom enhances your decisions, and their belief in you reinforces your belief in yourself. Transformation is not something that happens overnight. It is the result of choosing yourself day after day, moment after moment. Even when it's difficult, even when no one notices, and even when you feel like giving up. Most people don't lack talent, ambition, or potential. What they lack is consistency. They choose themselves for a day, a week, or a moment, but then slip back into old patterns that keep them in the same place. Real change only begins when you commit to your growth long enough for it to produce visible results. Choosing yourself means no longer abandoning your own needs just to keep others comfortable. It means prioritizing your goals even when people don't understand. It means believing in your vision even when your circumstances haven't caught up with it yet. This decision requires strength because it often means walking alone for a while, distancing yourself from distractions, and breaking habits that once felt familiar or comforting. Consistency is the bridge between who you are and who you want to become. When you show up for your goals every single day, even in small ways, you build momentum. You begin to see progress where there was once only doubt. You start building discipline, confidence, and clarity. You realize that transformation isn't about giant leaps, it's about steady steps in the right direction. Every page you read, every workout you complete, every boundary you enforce, every moment you choose growth over comfort. These actions compound over time. Choosing yourself also means refusing to shrink for anyone. It means recognizing when you've been dimming your own light to make others more comfortable and deciding to stop when you value your goals enough to protect them, nurture them, and fight for them. You tap into a version of yourself that is unstoppable. Your energy shifts. Your mindset sharpens. Your purpose becomes clearer. You begin to operate from intention instead of habit. People often wait for the right moment to focus on their goals, not realizing that the right moment is created through consistent effort. The more you choose yourself, the more opportunities begin to align with you. The more you choose your goals, the more the world begins to open doors that were once invisible. Transformation doesn't happen because you wished for a better life. It happens because you worked for it, protected it, and believed you were worthy of it. When you consistently choose yourself and your goals, you step into a life that reflects your true potential, not the limitations you once believed in. Many people go through life searching for strength outside themselves, waiting for permission, validation, or a perfect moment to step into who they were meant to be. But the truth is that everything you need, your courage, your brilliance, your resilience, your creativity, your ability to rise, has always been inside you. It is not something you must earn from the world. It is something you must awaken within yourself. Your power is not hidden. It's simply unused. It shows up in the moments you stand up after life knocks you down, in the way you keep going even when you're tired, in every vision you imagine for your future, and in the fire that refuses to let you quit. This inner strength does not disappear. It only waits for you to trust it. Your potential is limitless, but potential alone means nothing unless you act on it. Too often, people underestimate themselves because of past mistakes, fear of failure, or the belief that they are not enough. But your potential is not defined by what went wrong before. It's defined by what you can create moving forward. It expands every time you take a risk, learn something new, change a habit, or step outside your comfort zone. It grows with every decision that aligns with the life you truly want. And then there is your purpose, the reason you exist, the impact you are meant to make, the unique gifts you carry that no one else can replicate. Purpose isn't always loud or obvious. Sometimes it reveals itself slowly through experiences, challenges, passions, and the things that feel meaningful to your heart. But even when you cannot fully see it, it is still there, guiding you, pulling you towards something greater. Claiming your power, potential, and purpose means refusing to let fear speak louder than your destiny. It means letting go of excuses and stepping into responsibility. It means embracing the truth that you are capable of transforming your life, regardless of what others think, regardless of your past, and regardless of how long it takes. No one else can claim your greatness for you. No one else can walk your path. No one else can unlock what is already inside you. When you stop doubting yourself and start trusting the strength that has always lived within you, you activate a force that cannot be stopped. You begin to move with confidence, clarity, and intention. You stop settling and start rising. You stop surviving and start evolving. The moment you choose to claim what is already yours, your entire life begins to shift from limitation to possibility. As you move forward from this moment, remember that your life is shaped by the choices you make each day. Choices to value yourself, to protect your peace, to grow with intention, and to honor the person you are becoming. You are not here to shrink, to settle, or to live according to the expectations placed on you by others. You are here to rise, to step into your purpose, to use your voice, to trust your journey, and to believe in the power that has always been inside of you. This is your call to action. Not tomorrow, not someday, now. Choose yourself with courage. Focus on your dreams with discipline. Treat yourself with the respect you deserve and walk boldly into the future you were created for. You are stronger than your past, greater than your fears, and more capable than you have ever allowed yourself to believe. Your transformation begins the moment you decide that you are worthy of more. And today you have made that decision. So step forward with confidence, embrace your value, lead with purpose. And never forget this truth: you are enough, you are deserving, and your best days are still ahead of you.